Hello, Taurus. It is good to be back. It's good to see you. It's been a long time. And I am back now to share with you on a monthly basis what you can expect astrologically. So, we're going to be doing those readings. I want you to let the word go out to your friends. I am back for you. Now, what I'm doing a little differently here this time is, excuse me, um, I am recording it on Zoom, so there might be a little bit of just getting to know the software, right? So bear with me with that. But we're going to start off, and I'm going to share with you your chart. Okay, so you can follow here as I'm talking how your planets look like, where they're moving through the various houses and so forth. And also, we're going to be talking a little bit about what's been going on here in 2020. Huge transformations, old norms disappearing, new norms coming in, and where will they go, and where is it affecting you in your chart, right? At the end of this video, I have a second video coming in behind it, and I really want you to listen to it because that is all about that personal transformation we're going through, this reinventing ourselves, the Saturn Pluto. I'm going to touch a little bit upon it here in this video, but that goes more in depth because with these planets, we're actually renewing ourselves. You know, Pluto is death and rebirth, right? Where are we dying and where are we rebirthing? It's super important to know because a lot of people who don't know what they're feeling, just the frustrations, things are falling apart, there's crisis, anxiety, and all that. But this will show you the power of how Pluto can transform you in the long run, especially for the next 30 years because of Saturn's influence in touching upon these two. Okay. So right now I'm going to bring up your chart. Bear with me if I can't get it right off the bat, but we shall see here. I'm going to share the screen with you, and we have you right here. I should be popping up right here on a little video. What I really do want, though, is for this to um, come up. Oops. So I could enlarge it right now. You're probably just I'm on a little screen up there to the right. Sometimes it takes time for that. Oops. This is where I'm saying, bear with me. Stop share. There it came. And for me, so I can see it, but I need to see it so that I can enlarge it. It's not there quite yet, but it might just pop up. So what we're looking at here for you, we got several things this month. I really do want my video to share. Open it up. Come on. Thing is, I'm not going to be editing either. There it is. Okay. Now I can go like this, enlarge it, and oh, it just disappeared again. I don't know why it's doing that. Why isn't it right there? It comes in just as I click out. I need it to come up because I need to annotate. There we go. Okay, we're up and running. So listen, thank you for that. It'll be better next month. I'll probably get more used to it. But I did want to have this stamp. There we go. So if you now pay attention to what's going on here, I will click right there and we're pointing at the sun. The sun this month will be moving through the sign of Libra. So you, Taurus, you are, both you and Libra, shares the power of Venus, which is love, right? Love, harmony, beauty, and those things, money as well. And so for you, it's showing up here in the sixth house. And what does that mean? Well, that is your day-to-day routine. You're going to be focusing more on putting more love into your day-to-day routine so that it can balance, become more harmonized, so you're not spreading yourself thin, running anywhere, but looking at balance. Think about the scales, right? What makes you feel good? What takes away from you? So you're going to be kind of looking at how to distribute your time. And it's super powerful too because we have the new moon coming up here. It's 23 degrees in Libra, and that will be October 16th. So we know that the new moon is all about putting our intentions out. For you, Taurus, your intentions this month should be about how to create, how to organize, to make your day to day schedule in a way that you desire it to be. Do you want more time to go to the gym? Do you want more time to pay attention to your hobbies, more time with your children, where it's not just work? Because the 10th house is about career. So we're not talking necessarily career. We're talking about your day to day work focus and how to organize that. Now, the beauty and the big power of this new moon is yes, we know we put out our intentions, right? We do that every new moon. At least for all of you that used to listen to me, right? We know the new moon is so important. However, it's not just what you're intending for this upcoming month. Let me tell you what you're actually programming. It's the power of how you want your life to look like over the next 12 months. Whatever you're putting in place here in this sixth house, right? It's going to be with you while the moons are going to be moving through all these 12 signs until it comes back to this area. So if you do it right this month, you will see that you can just actually float on that wave that you're setting up and structuring right now and have such a positive year ahead. So pay attention and put it on your calendar. That new moon is October 16th, right? What I do want to say though is that this new moon is going to be squaring up here to the ninth house, okay, with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. So what that means too is that somebody might disturb you here on this day as well. They might comment on something. Maybe they won't be too supportive. You know how Saturn can restrict and Pluto can be very toxic when it comes to hitting under the belt with some comment. And Jupiter, you know, which really wants to be generous and big, something might be blown out of proportion a little bit here. Don't let that steal this moment away, because remember, for you to sit down, even if it's just 5 minutes to put your intentions out there, that's going to last for a year. So whoever is saying or doing whatever, if you're getting into a small verbal fight, don't let it steal it from you. All right. So remember, put that on your calendar. That is October 16th. And Taurus, while we're talking about the moons, let me tell you about the full moon. We got two this month. Okay. We got one down here on October 1st, and we have one on October 31st. So that first full moon, 9 degrees in Aries, it's right here. Let me click it that way. Your 12th house. So a full moon in the 12th house. The full moon is always our reactions, our emotions, and we know our cup runs over, right? And the 12th house is all about our subconsciousness. It's about who we are on the inside. It's our spirituality. It's our dreams, that kind of thing, right? Very Piscean, very emotional. So being in the sign of Aries, it might just strike you strongly, right? Because Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is in this very same area right here. And so those two, over the 24-hour period that the full moon is there, you can come to feel more energized, like, ooh, I want to do this. And since it's our subconsciousness, it's very creative. It's the house of Pisces, right? You might come to stumble across maybe a project or a thought or something creative, something very Piscean, or you might have a dream or a vision, or a meditation will take you somewhere, but it could energize you fully with this Mars, where you're thinking, ooh, I want to do this, right? And since we're talking about Mars, let's talk about that before we get to that second full moon this month. Mars normally goes through a chart 5 to 6 weeks. Now, this Mars hanging around in Aries is actually giving us extended time between 5 to 6 months. So your 12th house is going to be activated for months to come. And what does that mean for you, Taurus? Well, Mars is your drive, right? It's your ambition. It's our physical energy and how we express it and where we take it. Um, it is asking you to look here. It's looking here. It's looking internally, not necessarily externally yet. But anything that you're doing, and see it as a gift. You know, some people don't like their retrogrades. I personally happen to love retrogrades. Why? Because it gives us extended time to dig in, go sub, and bring up those juicy, creative energies and forces and whatnot. So I can see that you, Taurus, are working behind the scenes, which is the 12th house. Anything from the first house, if you look at the chart right now, you'll see my mouse. Anything that we're doing around the chart, Mars is out in the external world until it visits the 12th house. That means working behind the scenes. You might be really putting something together that I feel is incredible because it is visually a vision that you're creating, something that you're wanting to achieve, but you're quiet. And sometimes it's smart not to express too much of what we're working on before we're ready to present it to the world. Because then people can dive in and they can get to you and they come in with all their little ifs and buts and, oh, I don't know if I do it this way. Why don't you do it that way? Then they interfere with your personal creative stream. It's better to follow your bliss and your goal. And then once Mars moves forward, comes over your ascendants, moves into your sign, that will be when Mars is really going to kick ass and you will show the world exactly what you've been working on and why you might have been a little secretive. Right? But it's going to be good. Trust me. Um, the second full moon, October 31st, down here, that is going to be into your sign. So, woo, nice. Okay, so I feel that this full moon on the 31st of October is really going to bring things home to you personally because it's in your sign. It's in the first house, which rules you, the I am of who we are. That's what the first house is all about, right? And you have Uranus there. Now, Uranus, of course, is a planet of surprise, right? And it's the unpredictable. It's the wild card. We never know. It can be really good. We love when Uranus is good. It brings upon us all those unexpected surprises. But then again, Uranus, if it's in a difficult, challenged aspect, it can give us the big OMGs like, oh my God, what happened? We didn't see that coming. It could do that too. But for most of you Taurians, especially those of you in the early stages, the first third of your sign, you have undergone major changes over the last couple of years here. Um, Taurus loves stability. It loves anything that is secure, right? Money-wise, especially, security for you is a huge thing. You'd think it would be for everybody, but that's not so. But for you, it is, right? Because you're an earth sign and ruled by Venus, which is money. It is important. Some of you might have seen the fluctuation of money, either more coming in, some going out. It all depends on what you, dear Taurus, has in your personal chart. Some of you might have seen money come up, like incredible gifts, right? Some of you might have seen money and big money go out the door and not knowing why. That's why you always want to know what's going on in your own personal individual chart to see what is coming down the road or what is happening in the now. And that is why I love to give you guys readings, right? But this second full moon on the 31st, what I love about it, and let me just bring up a little heart right in here, that is that it is conjunct that Uranus, okay? So the full moon might bring you some very big surprises. On the 31st, mark that on your calendar because since it is the first house, it could be something that either you create. Think about Uranus always thinks outside of the box. genius new thoughts, ideas, and so forth. So something might surface there, or it could be maybe some news coming your way that will just pop the lid off of something, and you'll have a big OMG experience just from that. Love, 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 love that. But let's move on to the next important thing here in the chart. And if you can see here over in the area of your seventh house, now, seventh house is all about relationships. And of course, Taurus, this is your solar chart. It's not your natal chart because I would have to have that personally. It's not your natal chart with the transits. When we do online here on YouTube, we talk about the solar charts, which are collective for all of you Taurians. And since Mercury now is in that seventh house area, it's about relationships. Mercury is all about communication. How are you communicating right now with your spouse or your significant other here in October? It's in the sign of Scorpio, so it's very deep. It could be very passionate, but it could also be very sharp and edgy. Um, and since it's retrograde, we want to be careful that we're hearing what our partner is actually saying, because sometimes we can really come across misunderstandings, interpreting it in a way that it wasn't intended, and so forth. So we can have miscommunications when Mercury's retrograde. Anything contractual with a partner, we want to be a little careful with right now because of the retrograde. If we agree upon doing something and we sign anything, it might have to be redone down the road. So if you're needing to sign, you might want to hold off at least to right here, October 14th to November 4th. Okay, it's going to go direct on November 4th. I think it didn't catch the screen. It's outside of the screen there. But I always like to give it at least another 10 to 14 days for Mercury to get out of its shadow, right? Before we start doing business things there. So just take a little pause, work on other things while Mercury's retrograde, and just be conscious of it. You know, if something goes haywire, hey, no big deal. You know what it is. It's retrograde. Venus, since we're talking about Venus and love and all those good things here and money, Venus is currently cruising here in October in the fourth house. That has to do with you, your family, your foundation, your home, maybe wanting to beautify, bring in new things, new colors on the wall, maybe a new piece of furniture, anything that can bring your feng shui back up and going, something that can beautify, but it's also beautifying within our own internal home, which is soul and spirit, of course. And there's pride in this because Leo is prideful. It wants things to radiate and shine in a good way. And when we have Venus in here, oh, we feel it. We feel it. We're proud of the joy and the love that we have, or even the material things for those of you who are material, and you are Taurus, so you do love beautiful material things too. Some of you might even buy some new property or invest in something of that sort, but that's what Venus is doing. But the big thing that we have, let's jump up to your ninth house, and we have all of these three planets. We've got Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. And that's what I said initially in the beginning of the video, that at the end, there is a separate video where I'm talking about this constellation. This is huge. This is big. Pluto is death and rebirth. There's a part of us that we're separating from, getting over with, and Saturn here, giving it all that juice. This is what the lockdown has been all about here in 2020 with the corona, and how we are looking at norms disappearing, right? The gyms are closed, the restaurants are closed, we're feeling pressure. Some of us are being furloughed and all that kind of stuff, right? But for you, Taurus, it's in your ninth house. So this is probably where you've been feeling that the shoe has been pinching the most for you here in 2020. Saturn and Pluto have been moving very slowly, so they've just been lingering around. Jupiter has moved back and forth a little bit. Now it's direct, but it was retrograde for several months, kind of pinging back and forth there on Pluto, right? And Jupiter is international liaisons, people, foreign countries, and so forth are traveling. And so we can see how Jupiter has been sandwiched, it's squeezed as far as wanting to expand and travel. And the ninth house is all about international travel in and of itself. And here for you, Taurus, yeah, Saturn is restricting it. No, I can't go here. And no, I can't go there because of it. And so we're feeling that frustration. The good upside of all of this, being in this area of the ninth house, means higher education. Maybe some of you are reinventing yourself as far as taking on new studies, maybe furthering your education, perhaps, or just diving in, doing your own research. All of this is good because, bottom line, Taurus, you are changing the way you've been thinking, higher thinking. Third house is more about communication linearly, here and now. Yak, 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 yak. That's the third house, right? The ninth house is the higher mind, how we're thinking. This is where you are transforming the foundation of your values. So if you ask yourself, and you're totally honest, and you look at what has been shutting down for you, and you ask yourself, why has this shut down? What's the reason? What's the purpose? And so forth. If you now can become aware of these things needed to go. Why? Well, because Pluto is coming in after the teardown, it's going to come in and build up whole new structures. So you are reinventing how you're thinking with your higher mind, and so for that, this is a super important time. Yes, 2020 has been very frustrating. No kidding. We're feeling this, right? Big held back. But it's so that our inner self can transform, grow, become more of who we are, getting new perceptions. The ninth house is ruled by Sagittarius. So it's kind of like shooting towards new horizons, looking at what's there so that we can gain new insights and so forth. And we're mastering the responsibility of where we are at this stage. So maybe concepts that used to work for us in the past, well, we're finding out it's not working anymore. We're rearranging that bouquet, right? Some of the old flowers in the bouquet needs to go. Maybe now they're feeling like thistles. They need to go. Replace them with some beautiful lilies and roses, those things that can sit with you on a conscious, spiritual, higher level. And that bouquet is what's going to follow you for the next 30 years. That's why you want to listen to this following video right after this one, because it's not just what's going on here right now, October of 2020. This is where you're going to be transforming the path of your next 30 years. Listen to that video. You'll be happy. So, okay. That is the skinny and the short of what is going on for you, Taurus, here now in October. I am happy to be back, and I just want to say thank you for all the comments and all the emails that I've been receiving from you, asking when I will be back and that you've missed my videos. Thank you. That really warms my heart. I've just been very busy doing other things besides doing my daily readings, which I do for tons of you. So hi, right? But I am back because I feel it's such an important time that we are growing into and awakening to, and how we can all grow together, right? So listen, I will see you next month for the November reading. Before I quit, listen to your moon sign, listen to your rising sign. I should have said that earlier, because this powerful chart that you're having for your sign right now, remember, when you listen to your moon sign, that is going to be your emotional responses of October, right? Because all of these planets are going to change the position of their houses. So you get a different read, but it's going to be equally as important to you. And the rising sign, if you know it, well, that's how you're going to be expressing your energy and how you're going to be taking in the outer world. Equally important to listen to. So I would say that. And then, of course, always listen to your partner's sign too. See you next month. Thank you for sharing and following. So bye now. Take care.